Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Texas Rangers franchise on the MSM Sports Network. In episode 10, we have a jammed-packed 30 minutes for you as the Rangers will be taking on both the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros in this episode. But before we get to the games, let's go through the contract extensions that we have available to us. You see all the players that are up for a possible extension, and there's a large majority of the roster that needs to be re-signed. Now, we're not going to do all of that right now. I plan to leave the vast majority of those extensions for the offseason. As you see, we only have $5 million committed to next year and $4 million committed after that. Our 2021 payroll is down to just $41 million. So we are really playing on the cheap right now. And, that's something that you can get away with during the rebuilding season. But obviously, I want to contend as quickly as possible. And to do that, you do have to pay your players. So what you're going to see here over the next couple of slides and video clips is me negotiating with certain players. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, of course, is going to get a contract extension. Nick Solak, who's having a career year, will get an offer from us as well. And basically what I'm trying to do is solidify a young core that doesn't cost a lot of money. You see a cheap offer to Anderson Tejada. I want to keep him around, but obviously I'm not going to pay him big-time bucks just yet. Willie Calhoun is having a beyond career season, and definitely want to keep him around as well. The rest of these guys, for the most part, we're going to let slide, but we'll continue to sign young guys like Sam Huff, just continuing to lock down cheap contracts. As you see, all the re-signings that we make, mostly to young, very projectable guys. You see Jonathan Hernandez, who was hurt this season, gets a 2-year, $2.09 million deal. And then what you see is it jumps to $20 million next year and the year after that. Now you get a look at the depth chart and basically how our organization is going to project going forward. Is we start to click through the tabs, you see what they expect guys to develop into, and eventually they do project that Mackenzie Gore becomes the face of this organization, at least on the rubber. I'm really excited to see where Mackenzie goes. Obviously, we paid a very hefty price in trading Joey Gallo and Andy Ibanez over to the Padres for that package, but Gore is a special player, and I'm really looking forward to what we can get from him on the mound in years ahead. Well, let's take you out to Fenway now, and it was the Texas Rangers and the Boston Red Sox playing each other. The Rangers at 63-58, the Red Sox at 65-58. And this is a game between two wild card hopefuls. Neither team has a chance really to win their respective division, but still the playoffs are absolutely in the cards if they play well down the stretch. Nick Pivetta was on the mound for the Red Sox, and he had a really good first inning going. 3 up, 3 down as he gets Nick Solak to swing and miss at this one. Pivetta hard to touch in the first inning. Kohei Arihara would go to the mound for Texas, and he had a 3 up, 3 down inning going until Xander Bogaerts got a hold of this one. On just the 6th pitch of the inning, Bogaerts throws a souvenir over the Green Monster, and Boston would take a 1-0 lead as Xander's home run goes 402 feet. The very next batter was J.D. Martinez, and he sent a hard shot right back up the middle. Kohei Arihara giving up some solid contact here in the first and just trying to get out of it. 0-2 pitch here to Christian Vasquez, and finally the Red Sox backstop will swing over the top of that. Arihara out of the inning after allowing just the 1 run. Take you to the top of the second now, and it's Nate Lowe who started to heat up down the back half of this season. He's got a runner on first, and Lowe sends this one hard into right field. The ball misplayed by Renfroe, and Willie Calhoun on his horse will slide in safely at third base. So the Rangers runners on the corners and looking to get that run back. As you get a look at the replay, Renfroe just kind of overruns it. It hops up over the heel of his glove. 2-2 count now to David Dahl with runners on the corners, and this one runs in and hits him off that forearm. As Dahl, I don't really think expected that to curve in on him. He took it like an absolute champ and actually hit his elbow guard. So the bases were loaded with just one out for Emmanuel Margot, a trade deadline acquisition for Mike Foltynewicz, who was sent to the Tampa Bay Rays. And the 1-2 pitch, check swing, did he go in the first base? Umpire rings him up. On the thinnest of margins, Margot sent back to the pine, and it would be up to Anderson Tejada. Very first pitch from Nick Pivetta, and Tejada pops this skyward. It'll be caught just to the right of the batter's circle, and the Rangers squander a bases-loaded opportunity. The Red Sox take the lead into the third inning. We'll take you to the top of the fourth now, and it's Sam Huff up at the plate. 0-1 on the day, and Pivetta dealing to the Ranger backstop here, misses down low with a fastball. Now Huff, a decent rookie season going, he's made an immediate impact at the big league level, and he'll sting this one into right field. A base hit for Huff. Sam really competing for that future catcher spot with this Texas team, and would certainly love to see him behind the plate for years to come. Here's David Dahl now in a perfect swing as this one lined into right field. The Rangers do stop Huff at third base. So it'll be runners on the corners once again with just one out against Pivetta here in the top of the fourth. Next up would be Emmanuel Margot and a 2-2 count on the Rangers center fielder. Pivetta kicks, deals, and this one hit into shallow right center field. Renfroe coming on, makes the catch. They're going to test him. Renfroe's throw to the plate is in time to get Sam Huff, and the Rangers can't score for the second inning in a row as Renfroe's throw not overly strong, but flat and on a line, and a perfect candy hop to Christian Vasquez, who's able to swivel and slap the tag on Sam Huff. Take you to the bottom of the fourth now, and it's Xander Bogaerts up one more time. He's not going over the monster this time, though, as Arahara gets him fishing. 2-2 count now to J.D. Martinez. He's going to flare this one down the right field line and just fair inside the foul line. It's collected there by David Dahl, but his throw up towards the left field side of the bag, and J.D. Martinez into scoring position. 2 outs now, and Martinez over at third base, and Renfroe puts a charge into this one. High and deep off the face of the Green Monster. He'll cruise into second with an RBI double, and it was 2-0 Boston. The 14th double of the season for Renfroe. Later in the inning, Danny Santana, the former Ranger, he'll bounce this one over to second, and Nick Solak ends the inning, but not until after Boston adds another run. Top of the fifth now, and it's Anderson Tejada. He'll go the opposite way into left field for a single. Pivetta's pitch count starting to climb, although it's not bad. It's 63 pitches into the fifth inning. He got the next 2 outs on 2 consecutive pitches, and that would bring up Nick Solak with the runner on first base. And Solak swings deep into left field at the wall. It's gone. Off the show billboard over the Green Monster, Nick Solak launches his 20th home run of the season, and the Rangers draw even with the Red Sox at 2 apiece. Solak just got a hanging curveball right down the middle, and Solak, who is having a career year at the plate, comes through once again for Texas, showing why the Rangers decided not to trade him at the deadline and hopefully rebuild around him going forward. Kike Hernandez up to the plate now in the bottom of the fifth inning, and he'll single this one right back up the middle. He'll put runners on first and second with nobody out in the bottom of the fifth, and that would get Chris Woodward off the bench. He'll go to the bullpen as Kohei Arahara's day was done. Certainly not the start that he had envisioned, although he did only allow 2 runs. Well, Kyle Cody came on for the Rangers with still nobody out in the inning, and it's Rafael Devers who's going into left field. This is a base hit. They're going to test the arm of Willie Calhoun. The throw is just in time to get the runner at the plate. Hunter Renfroe gunned down from left field, and Willie Calhoun showing the defensive progression that he's made this season, as it was actually Bobby Dalbec who was sliding headfirst into the plate. A perfect throw, and Sam Huff applies the tag in time. So 1 out, runners on first and second, and the second out of the inning going to be blooped into center field. Kyle Cody just 1 out away from working out of the jam. Still tied at 2 in the bottom of the fifth, and it was Xander Bogaerts that came to the plate. The 1-2 pitch dribbled harmlessly down to first. Nate Lowe takes that to the bag, and Texas squirms out of another jam. We would go to the 6th inning now, as you see the line score there for the Rangers and Red Sox. Deadlocked at 2 apiece, and Kyle Cody stays on the mound. He'll get J.D. Martinez swinging and missing here for his first strikeout of the evening. Since the opening inning, the Rangers have done a good job keeping both Bogaerts and Martinez off balance. Hunter Renfroe was up with 2 outs, and on a 1-2 pitch, he flicks the end of the bat through the zone and will send this one into the right field corner, all the way past Pinsky's pole, and this will be a triple for the Red Sox right fielder, his second of the season. And Renfroe didn't really hit this ball all that hard. He did a great job of protecting the plate. Just kind of flicked his bat through the zone and winds up on third base. So it fell to Danny Santana, an 0-2 count, and he's caught looking at the high fastball. Kyle Cody works his way out of it, a fist pump as he walks his way off the mound. Top of the 7th now, Texas and Boston still deadlocked at 2, and a 1-2 pitch here to Charlie Culberson. The Rangers were very quiet through the middle frames. They would not score. On to Matt Bush now, and he comes in to pitch the bottom of the 7th. Leadoff batter is Bobby Dahlbeck, who sat all over this fastball, but pulled it just enough, and that one foul down the left field line. Very next pitch, another harmless ground ball down to first base. Nice play by Nate Lowe, and the PFP pays off. Rafael Devers now steps in, 0-1 count, and he's going the opposite way. This one will rattle up off the out-of-town scoreboard as Calhoun tries to get this in time, but it's just late as Devers with his 19th double of the season. Boston another runner in scoring position. But thankfully for the Rangers, Marcus Wilson would be the next batter. He pops up into shallow center field, and Texas works their way out of the 7th. We'll head to the 8th. In the 8th, it was Nick Solak against Brandon Brennan, who just made Culberson look silly in the 7th. Solak's going to go the opposite way, though. He takes a 90-mile-an-hour fastball into right field, and Texas has a base runner on in the inning with just 1 out. As you see, Solak sits all over that fastball and takes it where it was designed to go. Willie Calhoun now to the plate, and he sits on a hanging slider, driving this one deep out to center field, but it's just not going to have enough steam. It dies at the track, and there were 2 outs in the inning. The Rangers would not score. On to Spencer Patton now, tasked with keeping the ballgame tied in the bottom of the 8th, but the first batter he faces will send this right back up the middle. The Red Sox continuing to put pressure on the Rangers, especially in these late stages, as Bogaerts collects his second hit of the day. You see that changeup just hung right down the middle. It would be J.D. Martinez up. He was 2 for 3 on the day at this point, and with nobody out and a runner on first base, Martinez jammed on the fastball. He grounds to first. The relay throw back in time to Spencer Patton, covering the bag, and the Rangers turn a 3-6-1 double play. So it fell to Christian Vasquez in the bottom half of the inning. A 3-2 count here, though, and he swings and misses. Can't connect with the splitter beneath the zone, and Patton would send us to the 9th as Texas would look to take the lead against a new arm coming in out of the bullpen. It was Darwinzon Hernandez in his 53rd appearance of the year. He would face Nate Lowe with a 1-0 count to lead off the inning. Lowe 1 for 3 on the day. Let's make it 2 hits as he goes right back up the middle. A hanging slider that he deposits into center field, and Texas would have the go-ahead runner on base. David Dahl was up next in an 0-2 count, just trying to protect the plate. He swings and splices this one into left field. Great piece of 2-strike hitting for David Dahl, who had 3 hits today. None of them all that particularly well struck, but when you're going well at the plate, they just seem to fall. So it was up to Manuel Margot. He's had a couple of opportunities today. This time he's going to cash in. A base hit in front of the left fielder. That ball falls. Lowe had to hold up, though, to make sure that ball got down, and as a result, he stops at third base, and the bases would be loaded as Margot, all excited about finally delivering in a big spot. He had missed 2 other opportunities, but he comes through here with his first base hit of the day. it would bring up Anderson Tejada. A 1-0 pitch. He'll send this one out to shallow right field. Renfroe has thrown out one base runner already. Can he make it two as Texas tests the arm of the right fielder, but this is up the line. One run comes in to score, and Dahl moves up to third base. And in the ninth, Texas has taken the lead. With just one out, it was up to Charlie Culberson, and Culberson will lift this one out to left field. Again, the Rangers are going to try and test the arm of the outfielders. The throw again up the line. It easily would have beaten David Dahl, but Dahl able to get in uncontested as the throw was nowhere near the intended target, and Texas took a 4-2 lead. To the bottom of the ninth now, and the Rangers trying to close it out against the Red Sox. Spencer Patton goes back to the mound, and once again it's Hunter Renfroe just filleting one down the right field line. Not great contact at all, but the shift was applied, and nobody's home to field that ball in time. Renfroe with his 15th double of the season. So that would bring the tying run to the plate in the form of Danny Santana, and he's not able to convert again. 0-2 count, he dribbles it out to shortstop, and Culberson makes an easy play. So with one out, that would bring up the hard-hitting Bobby Dahlbeck, and he's jammed on an 0-1 fastball. Solak easily over to first, and there were 2 outs. The Red Sox down to their final out. Patton trying to get a 6-out save, and actually the win, and it would fall to Kike Hernandez. He looked at strike one, a changeup at the bottom of the zone. Hernandez just 180 the average with runners in scoring position. 0-1 pitch would be fouled off as Hernandez late on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. The 0-2 pitch from Patton lined softly down to first, and Nate Lowe makes the catch. The Rangers win this one 4-2 over the Boston Red Sox, potentially an important win as the Rangers and Red Sox both compete for a coveted wild card spot. See, the player of the game, Nick Solak. Spencer Patton picks up the win, and Darwinzon Hernandez suffers the loss. We would simulate ahead over the next week, and we swept the Cleveland Indians, but had lost the next two to the Houston Astros. And so we're going to jump into this one. Rangers trying to salvage the finale of a 3-game series. It's Wes Benjamin going to the mound for the Rangers against Lance McCullers for the Astros. The Astros at 82-47 are the runaway favorites to win this division, and you see why. Guys like McCullers have already racked up over 10 wins on the season. Benjamin not pitching poorly either, though. He's got a 4-1 record, and we jump into the bottom of the first inning. It's Alvarez sprays this one down the left field line. Miles Straw deciding to challenge the arm of Willie Calhoun, and well, if you've been paying attention in this series, it's become a bad idea to run on Willie as the throw right on the money, and Anderson Tejada easily applies the tag. So with 2 outs, it was Alex Bregman who came to the plate, and he'll roll over this 0-1 fastball. Rangers out of the inning with no damage done. Taking to the top of the second now, and it's Carlos Correa up at the plate. A 3-1 fastball slices this one into right field. Another leadoff base runner for the Houston Astros. They would certainly test Wes Benjamin's ability to work out of jams early. Jose Altuve to the plate now, a 2-2 count, and he stings this one deep out to center field. Eli White on his horse, ranging back and making the catch over his left shoulder for the first out. A hard hit ball by Altuve, but nothing to show for it. Wilson Ramos now right back up the middle, but this one gloved by Benjamin, and he'll turn the 1-6-3 double play to end the second inning. We get to the bottom of the second now, and it's Lance McCullers facing Nate Lowe. McCullers usually is very precise with his fastball and cutter, but here hangs one right down the middle, and Lowe slaps this against the shift into deep left center field. With the errant throw, Lowe easily able to stand up heading into third base, and it's his first triple of the season, putting a runner on third base with just 1 out. As you see another look at this replay, and McCullers just left that cutter middle. Nate Lowe, who's really heated up over the second half of the season, punished that into the outfield gap to give the Rangers a legit scoring opportunity here in the second. The next batter would be Sam Huff, and on a 1-0 count, McCullers a check of the runner, and now here he comes to the plate. This one would be hit hard down to first base, and a brief bobble, but the play is made. Nate Lowe, though, comes home to score, and Texas takes an early 1-0 lead. Charlie Culberson was the next batter, and A 1-1 pitch to him, a hanging sinker this time, blasted out to deep right field, but Kyle Tucker able to make the catch, and the Astros escape, just giving up one single run. To the top of the third now, and it's Kyle Tucker at the plate. He's frozen on an inside curveball. That one maybe not catching as much of the strike zone as he thought, but he's rung up nonetheless. As you look at the standings, Astros comfortably going to win the West, but Texas still battling for that wild card spot. Well, the very next hitter dribbled one down to third base, and one of the big issues for the Rangers this season has been defensively, as Anderson Tejada makes a silly little error. It would leave a runner on first, but Wes Benjamin going to get his second double play of the game. A little 4-6-3 action to get the Rangers out of the third inning completely unscathed. And Benjamin looking impressive here through the first 9 outs. He's allowed just 2 hits, but he's dealt with those with back-to-back double plays. Well, we go to the bottom of the third, and Tejada, who just committed the error, trying to atone for his sins, and this one lasered into right field. Tejada's bat has really impressed me in the games that we've seen him this season. I think that as long as his defense continues to improve, he's certainly someone who factors in long-term. The next batter was Eli White, and on a 2-2 count, McCullers hangs a curveball, and this one's blasted deep out to right center field. Tucker looking for it, he can't get it. It's up over his head and against the wall. Tejada had to hold to make sure the ball dropped, and he just gets in ahead of the tag at third base. 13th double of the season for Eli White. You've seen that McCullers has not made some of the best decisions with his placement, as Tucker just barely had that one go over his head. Very next batter was David Dahl. He squibs this one out to shortstop. It'll be an easy out for the Astros, but the Rangers push across their second run of the game. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa was the next batter, and this one is smoked out to deep left field. This one's going to one-hop off the wall, and the Rangers will bring home their third run of the ballgame as Kiner-Falefa slides into second base. The Rangers have the bats cooking early. 19th double of the season for IKF, and that would earn Lance McCullers a visit from his pitching coach. Well, with 2 outs and a runner on first, still in the bottom of the third, it's Nate Lowe to the plate. A hanging curveball, and this one smoked out to deep left center field. Fender going back at the track. He looks up, and it's gone. Home run for Nate Lowe, the 24th of his season. 404 feet as Lowe goes the opposite way, and the Rangers have blown it open here in the inning. It's 5-0 Texas after Lowe delivers a 2-run shot here in the inning, and the Ranger Powder Blues seem to be a good luck charm for the bats as Texas trying to avoid the sweep. You see the disgust from Lance McCullers as that curveball just didn't bend. It stayed middle, and Dusty Baker had seen enough. Lance McCullers, not his best outing to say the least, and a frustrating one in which he really couldn't do anything about the fact that his stuff just wasn't all that sharp. Well, 6-0 here in the bottom of the fourth, and Charlie Culberson back up at the plate, slicing this one down the right field line. That'll fall and get into the corner. Culberson turns first, turns on the Jets, and stands up into second base. As the Rangers continue to make the bats work. Just the 6th double of the season for Culberson. Well, he moved up to third on the next out, and then Eli White will send this one high and relatively deep out to center field. This will be more than good enough to get the run to the plate, as Culberson would have beaten it anyway, but the throw just a little bit offline, and the Rangers lead 7-0 now against Jake Odorizzi and the Astros. To the top of the 5th now, and Benjamin hasn't necessarily struggled with walks during his season, but when we pitch with him, he seems to struggle with that placement. 2-0 now to Wilson Ramos with a runner on first, and this one just kicks up the chalk down the right field line. Ramos will be held at first base, but it's a hard single down the line. It'll move the runner over to third, and it was runners on the corners with just 1 out. The very next batter was Kyle Tucker in an 0-2 count, but Benjamin runs the fastball in and plunks him, and that would load up the bases. The dangerous Yuri Gurriel stepped to the plate. Not a hard hit ball, but it's through the right side. A base hit. Houston now on the scoreboard at 7-1, and the bases still loaded as Wes Benjamin trying to work out of a jam. Well, the next batter was Alex DeGotti, and he looked at a slider on the outside corner. Again, Benjamin getting the benefit of the doubt here on the outside corner with a breaking pitch. As you get a look, this one just bends enough, framed beautifully there by Sam Huff, and there were 2 outs. Miles Straw to the plate next, and a 2-2 fastball that doesn't even threaten the zone, and now Benjamin's got to be careful with Yordan Alvarez on deck. The payoff pitch laced back up the middle, a base hit. This will score 2 easily as Houston cutting into the lead. Straw going to go for second, and he'll make it. A 2 RBI double for Miles Straw, his 25th of the season, and it would bring up Yordan Alvarez. 1-1 pitch. This one sizzled into the right center field gap. That'll go to the wall, and it's going to be another 2 RBI double for the Astros as Yordan Alvarez finds the gap. And just like that, what was a blowout is suddenly a 2-run affair. Well, that would be the end of it for Wes Benjamin, who was great until the 5th inning. But Chris Woodward going to the bullpen as the lefty will shrug as he walks off the mound. So coming in from the bullpen would be Nick Vincent. Vincent in his 12th appearance, and he has been sensational this season. An ERA just over 1.3. Very first pitch of his outing, he'll get a pop-up down the right field line, and the Rangers would get out of the inning, but Houston with a 5 spot, and they tighten this ball game up. We'll take you to the top of the 6th now, and a 2-2 count on Carlos Correa. He'll swing and miss at this changeup right over the top of it. Nick Vincent kept hitters off balance and uncomfortable all afternoon long. 2-2 pitch now with 2 outs, and Vincent going to work his way out of the 6th as well as Texas calming everything down in the next frame. We go to the bottom half now as the Rangers looking for insurance runs, just up 2. It's David Dahl to the plate, and he swings and misses. Nice pitch from Odorizzi to end the threat. Jake came in, and likewise, he also calmed things down for the Astros. Take you to the top of the 7th. This one blistered down the right field line just inside the bag. It'll be a fair ball. Gurriel digging for second and a head-first dive. He's in there safely. And the Astros, once again, a runner in scoring position. So Texas would turn again to the bullpen, and it's Matt Bush coming out of the pen. A .56 ERA in 19 appearances so far. He's 2-0, and Bush really refurbishing his career here in his 2nd stint with the Rangers. He would get out of the inning with a lazy pop fly to left field, and the bullpen for the Rangers, which struggled early on, starting to show some signs of life down the stretch, and Texas absolutely going to need that as they go forward. Well, in the bottom of the 7th, it was Willie Calhoun in a 1-2 pitch, and this one is a no-doubter. An absolute laser beam into the Rangers bullpen. Willie Calhoun with his 32nd home run of the season, a 406-foot blast off the bat of the lefty, and Willie Calhoun continues to cement his place in this Ranger lineup. And how about you enjoy your work there as that one got out of here in a hurry. There was not a soul in the ballpark that thought that was staying on this side of the fence. Well, 2 outs now, and it's Nate Lowe, an 0-1 count, and Lowe's going to follow Calhoun. How about back-to-back dingers for the Rangers as Lowe sends this one into the right field seats. Another souvenir off the bat of the first baseman, his 25th of the season, and Texas adds a couple of insurance runs via the long ball here at home as Austin Pruitt just hung another high fastball. Remember, Lowe went opposite field earlier in the game. Make it 2 for the contest as we take you down to the top of the 8th. Yordan Alvarez handcuffed there on a Matt Bush fastball. 0-2 count, and Bregman going down as he swings right over the top of this curveball. You got 2 strikeouts in the inning. Let's make it 3. Matt Bush just stifles the Houston Astros out of the bullpen as he strikes out the side in the 8th, and Texas would take a 4-run lead into the 9th inning. Oh, we go to the 9th, and Spencer Patton coming on. Not a save situation. The right-hander has been very solid this season. The first out of the inning will be recorded here on a 1-1 pitch sent down to Nate Lowe. Good defense played by the first baseman. Just a couple of pitches later, a solid ground ball, but right out to Izzy at shortstop, and the Rangers became 1 out away from stalling a sweep from the Houston Astros. It would fall to Kyle Tucker, and on a 2-2 pitch, the 11th pitch of the outing from Spencer Patton, Tucker gets into this one, but it's not going to be nearly deep enough. Texas wins the Sunday finale over the Astros 9-5 as they broke out the bats and really restarted that offense, something that they had struggled with in the first two games. Texas gets back-to-back wins in this episode against two very good teams in the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. You see the happy totals there, 9 runs on 12 hits for Texas, 5 runs on 7 hits for the Astros. And as we look forward to what we'll do in the next episode, we're going to get through the month of September and a crucial homestand coming at the very end as the Rangers will host the Angels and the Indians to conclude the regular season. Texas squarely in the wild card chase. No hope for a divisional crown this year, but we absolutely do have a chance at the playoffs, something that I did not expect going into this season. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and a comment and subscribe if you're new here. I really do appreciate the feedback. Until next time, so long, everybody.